Hi there, Hamish Conway here, and welcome to TACOS Tuesday. This is episode 49, and with me is not as always, but today certainly is Sebastian Hargraves. Welcome, Seb.
Thanks, Hamish. Well, I should say welcome to you because I was riding solo last week,
You
so
were
you
correct.
were you were out and about.
Excellent, and but here we are again, and look again with TACOS Tuesday. What we're about here at Sell Global is just offering you the best advice on Amazon ads and tactics and strategies to help you grow on the Amazon channel. And we're in an interesting position where we've got this perspective as we are managing over $100 million in total sales and millions in ad spend. And we start to see what's working, what's not, and even start to see some trends, maybe early indications of trends, and start asking some questions. And look, the title today of this episode is Amazon ditches Google shopping and what now? And this is like breaking news, and this is in all like 20 odd countries that Amazon is. And it's like, well, why would Amazon do this? And perhaps some things have been going on for a wee while already. There's some data that we can look at. We're not going to look at it today. There's confidential data, but we're seeing trends that are showing a decline in off Amazon traffic. And part of that off Amazon traffic is Google Ads is one of those things. So what we're going to do here, look, we don't know everything about this here. Amazon will know exactly why they're doing this. We've got some thoughts on this, but more importantly, what you need to start thinking about doing to navigate this change and what you need to be paying attention to. So let's start with Seb, with you. Why do you think Amazon has made this move to cut? I'm guessing how much they have spent on Google, but it would have to be like have a B in it, billions across the world. So why would they do this?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And this has come up because there's been conversations within different brands we've worked with where we're seeing good growth from an advertising point of view on Amazon's platform, but maybe we're seeing that the traffic continues to decline, and it's like, okay, why is this happening? And when you kind of try and go to the root cause, there's a number of factors, but one of them being that it's like the Google traffic, is declining. And we think that we don't have the answer, but we think that there's a bunch of reasons that Amazon's doing this. Like any good advertiser, I think Amazon are working out whether there is a lot of cannibalization that's happening here. And so what we mean by that is, and we've talked about this before in previous episodes, where you can advertise on your branded terms, and most likely, or not most likely, but a good chunk of the time, you're probably going to get those purchases without spending on advertising. Now, you can test this by just pausing your advertising to your branded search and seeing what happens, or lowering your budget to your branded terms and seeing if that happens. So I think like any good advertiser, they're doing tests to see whether that's happening to them, because most of the time they rank very high organically on a lot of categories. And so by paying for those paid searches on Google, they potentially are cannibalizing sales.
Yeah. So look, I'm sure someone didn't just turn up on Monday last week and go, right, this week I think we should just turn off Google Shopping.
Yeah.
So they would have been doing other tests and just seeing, okay, if we turn off ads to either this category or these group of products, they might have just dialed in on the products that they were going to do it for. And they would be going, well, what happens if we turn that off on these products or these categories? Are we noticing any difference in conversion rates, in lifetime value, or CAC, any other metric, right? They must have been testing this. And this could be why when people look at the customer journey tracking that Amazon's got there, that some of that decline could have already kicked in. So they'll be thinking about what is best for Amazon. As fair enough, it's their company, they'll do that. So they'll be going, okay, there is upside in it here for them. I also think there's Meta, Google, and our Amazon ads is, in number 3 spot. Actually, I think Google's number 1, and then Meta and Amazon. Amazon probably doesn't like paying Google billions of dollars. And there'll be something here that they're thinking that they can do themselves as well. Like, I think there's a redirection of money here going into whether it's with shopping agents or whether it is more with Amazon ads themselves and more top of the funnel DSP work that they're doing, more assets that they've got, or more TV that they're doing. But Amazon will not be doing this for a laugh. They will have a clear intent behind this. And so what else do you think some of that intent could be as well?
Yeah, I mean, one of it is that they potentially think they've won.
Mm.
So, if you look at Amazon US, 60% of people will start their search on Amazon. So it's already shifted, that it's already in their favor, right?
Mm.
So they've obviously been investing in Google for decades. So they might be at that tipping point, right, where they're like, well, we're actually the dominant one now. The onus is on Google to kind of come to the table, to compete with us, not the other way around in a lot of ways, right? And I think there's a shift in the type of traffic that Amazon is prioritizing here as well. So it's not just about traffic, it's about the quality of the traffic that comes in.
Mm.
Because the quality of the traffic, like any good advertiser knows, is super important. It's why in previous episodes we've talked about lifetime value. We've talked about Amazon, even within their own brand metrics, they represent customers in high value customers and these different customer types. So they know the customers very, very well, or the shoppers very, very well. And they know, the ones that are most valuable and the ones that aren't. And so by having more of that really good traffic, they can spend a lot less and still grow and outperform a lot of these marketplaces.
Yeah, interesting. Because so and some of that data is shown through in terms of an increase in conversion rates, less traffic but increase in conversion rates. So that could make sense. Is there also an aspect here? Looping back to my comment on Amazon will always do what's best for itself, and I was just thinking of the comment that Jeff Bezos had a while ago. It's like, your margin is my opportunity, or is our opportunity, and is this perhaps Amazon going, well, brands will have to do more of the heavy lifting at the top of the funnel. Like, we're not going to do that lower return on investment ad spend. We'll leave that up to the brands. Is that potentially what they could be doing?
Yeah, I think it's all of these factors. So I think with new marketplaces like Australia, they're obviously wanting to invest a lot heavier where they don't have that same kind of domination. But once they've kind of got that share and domination, I think that then they start to become a bit. It's the same as that we do as advertisers. It's like they become smarter with the way, it's not just shotgun approach and just dump ad spend in and get as much traffic as possible. That goes like at some point that stops working when you scale to a certain size, and you need to get a bit smarter. So they're pulling back, and they're probably expecting the brands to step into their place. And in a lot of cases, brands are already doing that. Brands are already advertising in those categories. Amazon just happens to be there as well, and that definitely would be part of that equation as well.
I find it interesting, given like Amazon Australia, that's where we do a lot of our work, that it's still relatively young. And when I look on Google Shopping now, just put in I put in baby wipes, for example, and or pick a top of the category product there, and even if it's branded or non-branded, but type it in, and mostly who's winning who's bidding other marketplaces as well. So that I kind of find that interesting. It's not brands stepping into the breach. It's other marketplaces who are trying to divert that traffic to them. And if it's an FMCG type of product, then it's going to Woolies or Coles or Chemist Warehouse sort of places. So I don't see how that helps Amazon. But again, like, they will have metrics that have driven this decision, and there could be this could still be a bit of a testing period. And will they revert back, or will they kind of do the you cut everything and then see where it hurts the most, and then pull that start back at where they think they can get the best return? Is this maybe going to reduce the click costs and reduce the bid costs, and maybe it's a way there for them to manipulate things there? I don't know. What do you think about that, particularly around Australia? How do you think it's going to impact?
Yeah, I mean, so I did some searching as well. They're definitely still advertising. I don't think that's in question, particularly in AU. It's that they've pulled off the throttle a little bit in regards to how much they are. So yeah, I don't like obviously what the benchmarks are internally. Potentially, it's just like we know that brands have a hard time with net PPM. So it might be that this is part of an overall more holistic picture where it's like they need to improve profitability, across the board potentially. But they're definitely not pulling, I don't think, in AU away completely. They're just testing in certain categories, I think, where they don't think that they need to invest for all the same reasons that we talked about in the US.
Just something that came to mind there for vendor clients in Australia is part of the accruals that they have is meant for marketing co-op there, which includes Amazon ads. So it could be worth, if you're a vendor in Australia, just searching some of your products, or the the type of product name there and just seeing if anything's turning up, or just asking for Amazon to confirm that as part of the accrual that you're paying, are they actually advertising? I know that could be down in the what to do now camp with things, as we, just to keep a closer eye on what is happening. I think we're kind of covering the why they might be doing it from, particularly in the US, Australia a little bit harder, but there'll be some key metrics behind this. What else have you noticed yourself with the number of brands, whether they be US or Australia, in terms of this external traffic that Amazon could have been driving towards brands? And what's the trend you've noticed even in the last 12 months?
Yeah, so we have noticed a decline in overall traffic, specifically external traffic. So Amazon traffic, like on page, has been fine, but the external traffic part has been declining, obviously because of these changes that they're making. So, yeah, that's kind of been the trend that we've been seeing. So, it kind of comes. The next question kind of goes, or what do we do about that?
What to do about it now? Yeah. So what do brands do about it?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is don't overreact, or not don't overreact, but just make sure you're comparing. So a lot of brands will go in and have a look at their brand and be like, okay, sales are down or whatever, and they look at year on year and they're like, okay, what's happening? Like, why are we seeing this decline? And they might think that there's something wrong with their brand. And the reality is that, in a lot of cases, it's there's nothing wrong with the brand. It's just that there's a decrease in traffic that's coming to the brand that used to be. So that would be the first thing I'd say is make sure that when you're doing your diagnostics, you're diagnosing the problem. You don't want to sit there and diagnose something that you don't think's that you think's the problem and it's not, and you go ahead and make these changes, and you actually do more damage to your brand than improving it. So that would be the first thing that I'd say. The second thing is around. Obviously, you can fill that gap as a brand, right, into your Google Ads, if that's where a majority of your traffic's coming from. And this will come back to, where does it cost you? What does your CAC look like on every one of your platforms? And that's an important conversation because, the lowest CAC you can obviously acquire customers for, that's where you want to be investing your ad dollars.
Yeah. Okay. So looking at that, understanding, like even with Amazon ads, that could be your best CAC, or there might be, various campaigns there that are underinvested in that you could invest in more. Mm-hmm. I still think, though, there is the work to do of looking at your just key metrics of your vendor, just looking at glance views and conversion rates, which you can't get the conversion rates on Amazon, but you can do that in a spreadsheet, or I know we've got an analytics tool that we do that there. Just in tracking that by month, just to see, is there any noticeable pattern here, maybe overall, or you could go granular as well into each SKU where that makes sense. If you're a third-party seller, you're looking at your unit sessions there, and also your unit session percentage as your conversion rate, and to see if you're noticing any patterns there, and do it by month, so you can start to see, are there any trends here you need to be paying attention to. But then also, Seb, can you explain where people should go looking at the customer journey analytics inside of the Amazon platform?
Yeah, so if you're this only applies if you're a third-party seller, but you can go within brand analytics. Amazon have a segment called Customer Journey Analytics. You'll see it as a selection option once you go into brand analytics, and that shows you basically how many customers are coming from category search versus how many are coming from off-platform, and you can work out the difference between them. So some key caveats there is that it shows you shoppers, not clicks. So you might see that your shoppers are lower than what you see in your, or even your sales, right? Your sales might be higher because they might be buying multiple products, etc. So that's just one thing to note, but that's where you can find it, and you can look at that by month. Unfortunately, you can't see it. You'd have to map out your data kind of each month, but you can just do that in a spreadsheet to see kind of the trends on a monthly basis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think that understand the metrics for you, because everyone will be different, but then also do start to think about what you're doing from an overall traffic point of view, and whether that's from a socials or other paid to be part of it. You might even want to just do some testing of Google Ads. Just pick 3 to 4 to 5 products and just start running some Google shopping ads and pointing that through to Amazon just to see what you're paying from a cost per click and what the conversion rate is. I know there are some tools that we had looked at earlier, not in the show, that were helping with the attribution part of that, and also getting your brand referral bonus there so you can offset some of that Google cost. And that's actually an interesting there. I wonder if that's another way Amazon's thinking about this as well. But yeah, you'd want to get that attribution clear on the way through. So start testing, that nothing ever stands still. So I just think Amazon's doing this to benefit themselves, and we've just got to keep on digging to find out, exactly what isn't behind it. What can we can't control Amazon, but you can control what you do. And so hopefully there's a few tips there for you to start looking at your metrics, taking some actions, test some new things. And if you do want to have a conversation about that with Seb, then look on our website, gosellglobal.com, and you can book a call there, particularly if you look at the management for Amazon ads page as well. So look, any final words on this, Seb?
I would say the other thing is, like, we partner with someone that helps us with the Google side as well. So, like, if there's a conversation that needs to happen there, feel free to reach out, and we can definitely help there as well. So yeah.
No, good. Appreciate it. Excellent. And folks, next week is actually episode number 50, which will be 1 year. Actually, the 1st of August is 1 year that we have been doing the podcast. So Seb and I will have a very special podcast coming at you for next week. So looking forward to that. I know there's 52 weeks in a year, but we did take 2 weeks off over the summer break, over Christmas and the summer break. But up on half a century of, to use a cricketing term, of podcasts. So that's been great. So hope you enjoyed this, but certainly make sure you check in on TACOS Tuesday next week as well. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
All the best.
Bye.